Hello, welcome to the Xpress-pay Knowledge Center. My name is Melissa Rogozinski, and I am the Education and Training Expert at Systems East. I'm also the host of our video and podcast series. Today, we have Jesse Conway with us to talk to us about part 2 of whether or not public Wi-Fi is secure or not secure, and especially how that security affects making e-payment transactions. Hi, Jesse. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, Melissa. Good to be back.
So, Jesse, let's do a little bit of a summary from the last program we did on public Wi-Fi security. What is the difference between a secured or an unsecured network?
Certainly, Melissa. So, in the last podcast, we talked a little bit about centrally maintained networks. We talked a little bit about network layer encryption. So, just to review a little bit, secure networks will tend to have a number of different elements built into the environment. Things like network access control, or NAC, is generally going to be a solution that's in place on a secured network. And that's going to govern the admission into the network as far as which devices are actually on the network, role-based access that enforces what you can do while you're connected to the network. And there's also going to be things like your firewall and elements of the network that are regularly updated to make sure that you're in a secure network. So these are going to play a crucial role in your security when accessing from your device, as failure to encrypt connections, monitor and manage traffic on the network, and keep things up to date will create vulnerabilities if those aren't in place. So if a user is in an unsecured network, your PC is more liable to be infiltrated or have your outgoing data transmissions monitored. Hackers could utilize any number of methods for obtaining information transmitted over the network or directly on other users' machines, depending on the sophistication of the hacker's tools and their skills.
So, Jesse, why is a PCI compliant site so important to making e-payment transactions?
Well, it's a good question. And really what, going hand in hand with what we're discussing about security is that we're looking at two different types of encryption, really, in this case. And the encryption taking place, say, on a PCI compliant website, such as Xpress-pay, we're taking and we're securing the connection directly between your web browser and our servers. And that's encrypted. When you're on a local network or you're hooked into a wireless network, say at a coffee shop, there's the encryption that would take place, say, between your machine, the wireless access point, and then any network level encryption that takes place between the wireless access point and all the other machines on the network. So while it's true that being on a secure and encrypted network will benefit customers, the PCI compliant sites such as Xpress-pay will protect your information regardless of the environment or security of the network you're in.
All right, Jesse, so you've touched on something that's going to get a little bit technical for our audience. How does a PCI compliant site actually work to protect consumers' personally identifiable information and card data?
Certainly. And so this will touch back a little bit on your interview with my supervisor, Peter Rigotti, on encryption. The PCI compliance standards demand that we use what's called TLS 1.2 when submitting information between our servers and a customer's browser. So how does this work? So TLS 1.2 protocol is required by the user's browser in order to establish a connection between our servers and their machine. So TLS stands for Transport Layer Security Protocol. TLS 1.2 has been an industry standard now for a few years and is replacing the older SSL Secure Socket Layer Protocol. So once we verify that TLS is on the client's browser, an encrypted connection is opened between our server and the customer's machine. And this makes it very difficult to hack any transmission that we're sending. So while certain tools like a network sniffer perhaps might enable someone monitoring the network traffic to see that a customer is on Xpress-pay, the actual encrypted connection between Xpress-pay and the customer would be extremely difficult to hack.
So just to recap, Jesse, we've talked about whether networks are secure or unsecured and why and how a PCI compliant site will protect a consumer's e-payment transactions. Is there anything else that you would like to offer our audience about using public Wi-Fi to make e-payment transactions?
Well, as we discussed in the previous podcast, it is important to understand what type of security is offered when connecting to unknown networks, and never to assume that they're secure. Asking questions about the network security policy is always good, as far as to make sure that you're in good shape when you're getting on the network, and this can guide you in deciding which applications to utilize or what information to send over any given network. However, using sites such as Xpress-pay.com, which follow the stringent standards of PCI Level 1 compliance when making payments online, helps to alleviate those concerns, as well encrypt your e-payment information regardless of the environment you're in. So, just one, make sure that you're in a secure environment. Two, when you're making payments, use Xpress-pay.
Folks, that wraps up our time for today. I want to thank Jesse Conway for joining us for both part 1 and part 2 of using public Wi-Fi and whether or not it's secure or not secure to make your e-payment transactions. If you have any questions, feedback, or would like to be a guest on our show, please use the information after this interview to contact me directly. Thanks again for joining us. We look forward to seeing you the next time at the Xpress-pay Knowledge Center.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Or if you have an idea you think we should discuss, leave it in a comment below.